Welcome to the Thinking Man's Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Rusty fucking Diamond. I'm here with Boom.
Gee, yeah, that's me. And man, I got another guest. This is awesome. 2 in a row.
Man.
Last one was a lot of fun. This one's going to be definitely a blast, I can tell you. So why don't you do the introduction for this guy this time?
We got this dude, this motherfucker. That's never a good way to start it, man. This motherfucker here. This guy, man, he's one of the guys who fucking trained us, but started out training us. He's he's cool. He's cool. Man, I suck at this today.
I feel like
man.
I put you on the fucking spot. We are here.
I know. I'm fucked up.
Boy quiz.
Fucking fired.
Yeah, I mean, I give it to you one time. One time I throw it over to you. But no, we are here with HBQ. He is one of the Northwest pro wrestlers out here. He's been around for quite some time. Has a big name for us out here for sure. I think of pro wrestling. He's definitely one of the guys I think about in this area. We are definitely a pleasure to have you here, man. This is awesome to have you here.
Oh, well, thanks so much. Thanks for having me. And yes, one recording, I am a motherfucker, according to my 15-year-old. So, yes.
15 now?
Going on 15. Should be turning 15 next month.
Yeah, well, you want to know mine? Mine's 16 and just done being pregnant. So.
Jeez. Oh,
yeah, she got a kid of her own now.
Where's the time going?
I'm a granddad now, man.
You're a granddad?
Yes, sir.
Do you get,
yes, sir.
That is awesome. Like, well, also, do you get the senior citizen discount early?
I should, huh? I should. Yeah. I should get it on my energy drinks, at this point.
Oh, yeah,
that's where absolutely. I should get it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Shoot. Like, man, grandfather.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that's fair.
I'm only 40
grandfather,
too.
You should be able to get those discounts. That seems fair. I mean, regardless of age. I mean, you can get AARP right now, no problem. I have AARP right now, so I mean, and I'm not quite 55, but you can get it at any age. But
no, I just turned 40, and being a grandpa is a weird one, but it wasn't as bad. My wife, she was 39, so at the time of the baby coming in, and that was a trip. 39 on the grandma, so it's been a ride. It's a lot of fun. He's an awesome little guy. So I mean,
that's great.
It's a fun time. It's just in the beginning, it was a big punch to the face. So,
it's being punched in the face and almost kind of like a redo all over again. Except, hey, it's not my turn to change the diapers anymore.
Yeah, we do most of it. We want her to stay in school, so we're very big on pushing her through school and getting that done right now. And
all right,
we'll have to talk later. I got to show you some artwork she does. So maybe definitely. You can connect her to some folks. I don't even have anything. She just did stuff for Matt Cardona. Man, this is terrible. I don't even have anything of hers, and I usually do, but she does a lot of anime stuff and everything. So we'll have to talk after this. But let's get on some wrestling. So how many years have you been doing this?
Oh, are we talking including COVID or still like later after COVID?
I mean, if you did things in between, I mean, you're a professional wrestler from the beginning until the day you die, my friend. So, I mean, when did you get started? Let's put it that way.
I got started. It would be the last week of March in 2005. So, 18 years ago.
Damn.
Jeez, 18 years ago. Yeah.
Now, who trained you?
Playboy Buddy Rose and Colonel De Beers. Okay. Those are my two trainers.
Nice. I mean, you didn't start out in DOA, did you? Or is that what your first matches were in DOA?
No. My first matches were not actually in DOA. First match was actually in a company called CPW, and this was at a place called Rock and Roll Pizza in Portland, Oregon. It used to be up on like 111th and Powell. This was back in like 2006. So yeah, that was
match against.
First match against was actually against Cameron Starr.
Cameron Starr.
Yes.
I
Actually,
think I remember that guy, but during unfortunately, a verbal altercation with somebody else, I think, is when I ran into that guy. I think he had a verbal altercation. Hopefully, I'm not out of line, but with Mike Santiago, I believe, when I first
ooh,
ran into Canyon
I
Star.
you know what? I think I
I
know the
think you were
exact
there. Yeah, I
situation that
think
you're
you were
talking
there
about.
actually.
Yes, and
We were setting up the
I
ring
do
that
remember
day.
that day.
Yes, and Mike
Yep, no comment, no comment.
put him in his place. But anyway, yeah, I
Uh,
was there for
hey,
that. I
trust me,
was just
I
an
like.
audience. So,
Hey,
yeah, no, a lot of good
no
times.
shade on any of it. Love both of the guys.
What happened in
Um,
your first match? Do you remember? What do you remember of your first match?
My first match, it almost seemed kind of like any normal kind of like match because it's like I've wrestled Cameron like hundreds of times in training, like within that year, but it was just like it seemed normal, but like then the whole thing of like coming out and then the butterflies started churning and like trying to realize like, oh wait, now I'm in front of an audience. Now I have to like gauge their attention. I have to keep their attention. Now I have to actually like go out there and like do what I was trained to do, which is a scary thing to think about. And then also too, like not only do I have to like uphold of what I was trained, but also uphold them basically getting thrown out there into the wild and like, hey, I got my trainer's names on me too. So like I gotta go out there and like represent for the school and stuff. So yeah, it was a big pressure thing, but it's a fun ride.
So
how'd you feel
did
after your first match? You
so were
remember
you
that?
both faces on that match?
Oh, sorry. What was that?
Were you both faces?
No. I was a face and he was a heel. So back I don't know how things are nowadays with things, but he was the heel and he led the match, and so he actually led me to a good match.
Yeah, that's a fun way to do it, man. And then yeah, getting to go with it's always good for your first, I don't know how many matches probably to go with people you train with. Um, I mean, that's usually what I see, like still even now. Like a lot of people who are starting out usually end up having at least someone that they're just usually paired up with and just go with them for a while. If it's not their trainer, then yeah, it's usually someone else in their class. But I mean, with you, both of your trainers were not really wrestling at the time anymore. They were probably doing stuff, but probably not working too many matches. I don't know if they were still at that point.
No, they'd been retired, and they might have like came in and like did like some spots here or there. Like a little bit later on, like Buddy came in and I actually did a little spot thing with when Skag Rollins, we know now as Todd Royce. He had a promotion called NRW, and he came in and did like a little spot thing where he came in and like beat the crap out of Derek Drexel for a little bit.
How'd you get your name?
How did I get my name? Uh,
Yes.
funny, the name, yes, the name Quiz in itself was not a wrestling name at all. It's actually a college name. So, long story short, we used to give everybody nicknames in college, and we're all hanging around one day, and nothing would stick. Somebody was drunk at a party, said my actual name, slurred it. I'm like, that will never stick. And then I was quiz from here on out. Then my first day of wrestling training, there was like 12 or 13 other Chris's. And so I'm like, you can just call me Quiz. And yeah, I was Quiz in the wrestling industry from here on out after that.
Nice.
And the and the HB part of the HBQ part, it was like I'm huge, like anybody else, huge Shawn Michaels fan. And I was like one day during the show, I just like, you know what, I'm gonna just go out there and just pop the boy. So I just decided to do Shawn Michaels comeback spot the entire time. And a friend of ours, Chris Pugsley, when after I came to the back, he was like, hey, there goes my homeboy Quiz. And they're like, you know what, you got something there. So just kind of stuck with it.
And you even had the super kick as well, which I felt at least one time.
Sorry
Um,
about that. It was not my
oh no,
decision. I'm sorry
man!
about that.
To sit there, I feel like who was someone said it in WWE one time, getting the stunner, but I was honored. So I mean, it was great. I'll take it anytime. No, I love the wrestling business, man. Throw me through a table, do whatever you want. It's I love the business. But now, I mean, I've seen you in ladder matches. I've seen you in some crazy matches in DOA. What is the craziest match you have been in?
You know what? The craziest match that I've been in would have to be it was a last man standing match with Derek Drexel, which I know it doesn't seem like anything out of the ordinary, but the stuff that we did during that last man standing match, nobody was doing at the time. So we were actually adding in like death match elements in to the last man standing match in itself. So there was barbed wire, there was kiddie pool, barbed wire, and thumbtacks. There was chairs or all these other little things all over the place. And yeah, that took a lot of blood and a lot of years off my life, if I could say that much.
Yeah,
Was
for a
this
lot
right
of
before he
scars.
left and went to Florida?
This was after. This was after we had a whole thing where I needed to leave and I needed to go have surgery, and so this was around the time where he was coming back, and then he actually came back up from Florida, turned on me, and which let me have my little exit out, and then my return back, which was my like road back to like redemption. But you know, in order to get to redemption, you got to go through the devil first.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I saw you guys have a couple matches in DOA, and you guys are very physical in those matches. Very physical. So
Yes. Definitely. It was something physical. It was also something physical as well because we also went out there because we had a lot to prove. Uh, from him going to a background of being like a radio DJ and producer in Portland, and then me coming out from a background where like a lot of the companies just kind of saw me as like a mid card kind of guy and didn't think I could like hold up to a main event status. So we had a ton to prove, and we just had chips on our shoulders, and we just went out there and let it hang out.
no, man, it's you definitely do. You definitely do in your matches. Um, going. You got any good road stories? Anything crazy outside the wrestling ring that you can share with us?
Uh, yes. Uh, I don't know if I'll get in trouble or if I'll get canceled. It is actually
Well,
involving.
you can join the
This
club
show's
with
already been
us.
canceled
All
like
right,
a
all
dozen
right,
times, so we're all good.
all right, sweet. There we go. So it's involving a cat by the name of CJ Edwards. One of the many stories involving CJ Edwards. But there was one night he actually had to go to like his like regular 9 to 5 job, and so he had to like leave the show early, and we were out kind of like hanging out early. So we actually had a guy who's with the old Portland wrestling scene from like back in the 70s and 80s. And he like kind of like took a shining to us. And so he saw us as like the next generation and took care of us. So he's like, hey, no problem. I'll go ahead and give you a ride back. So the people who were in my car, I believe was like myself, Dr. Cleaver, Derek Drexel, and I believe Jason Sullivan as well. And so CJ had always heard like these wild stories about this guy, and like just heard all the like these crazy stories. We can or cannot confirm these stories, but it is what it is. So Cleaver had his number, and he was just like texting him all this wild stuff, oh hey man, I'm gonna go ahead and stop by the rest area and want you to put on this blonde wig. And then CJ would text me back. He's like, yo man, this old man wants me to put on a blonde wig. I was like, all right, you know what? You're gonna be totally fine. It's the blonde wig. He didn't ask you to put on a red wig. And so text him right back. He's like, oh, I'm all out of that. That was my Monday nighters. Well, I got a red wig. He's like, yo, man, y'all gonna have to come pick me up I-5. This is not right.
Oh,
One of many. And then I have to say another one involving Nate Andrews, where he was trying very hard and unsuccessfully hitting on this woman. So there was a wrestler that just came up and just like, hey, Miss, does he have a shot with you at all? Nope. Okay. Walks back over. So Nate continues to keep trying. Another wrestler, he's about 6'9", bald headed, came over, grabbed him by the back of his neck, and just starts making out with him. And it looked like a prison scene. And the girl just walked out like, "Excuse me." Don't worry, it was on a reservation, so it was all good.
Oh, that's how you get away with it.
Yes.
Oh man. Do you like to plan out your whole match all the way through? You call out certain spots and just kind of go from spot to spot?
Nowadays it's like a lot of stuff, like everybody likes to be very meticulous about what they do, and they want to go ahead and go A, B, C, D, like down the line. I'm still like an old school cat. I much prefer like, hey, just if we got the bullet points and we know what we're doing and we trust each other, let's just go out there and wing it. Because sometimes the fans aren't feeling what you have scripted out that you had planned in the back. So it's like feel what they're feeling out and like have a better outcome after that.
It's hard when you get to that point and you're out there and you have something planned and it's not working. You know, you still have like two or three more spots that are still like connected to that, and you just there's not really much you can do then at that point. It's just like, well, this is what we're going to be doing, and it's like, well, it's not really working, but here
There we
we
go. So
go.
I
Here we
cut
Yeah,
out
go.
for a
This is
second.
what we plan. We can't, go away from the plan. So yeah, I don't know. That's
yeah.
not a fun one. But yeah,
At
you
a
got to
at a
be able to.
situation like that, yeah, you better like call it on the fly a little bit here or there. Like, cause like some like the best things happen on the fly. Was it last weekend? Working for a company first time called 5CC up in Bellingham, Washington, and I was working Caden Cassidy, and he's supposed to be a heel, and I'm supposed to be a face, and apparently the fans just hated me first time seeing me, so we just had to wing it. Like I tried my hardest, like get them into that, but they were flipping me off, saying you're too little to be doing that. So I'm like, I just had to start leaning
What?
into being a jackass. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the like
yeah,
I think you've seen it on the what do you want to call it? On the clips or whatever. What's the most unruly fan you've had to deal with? What I mean, I know you've done some traveling and seen different areas and everything. What is one of the most unruly fans like you've had to deal with? Just the situation itself.
uh, one of the unruly fans it happened actually in Portland. A couple times fan actually tried to get into the ring, and he tried to get into the ring with like 7 or 8 really huge dude and just got the absolute crap beat out of him. Now one guy was actually a legit MMA fighter too. And yeah,
Or
like yeah, he got half of his torso in there and it just did not go well. I was like actually peeking out of the curtain. But honestly, for the most part, like for myself, I haven't had any like physical fan altercations. Like I've had fans like shout some horrendous like racial slurs at me, different things like that over the course of time. Oh, last weekend had somebody see some unsavory things, and yes, in 2022, here we are. But yeah, as far as like
it's yeah, this
confronting
is
confronting one on one,
disgusting.
no, yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I
yeah.
mean, you hear the
Wrestling
stories
fans
back in the
are.
day.
oh yeah,
Like we just talked about New Jack on the last show where he would just fucking feed off that, but the crowd was just so foul mouth fucking disgusting. As I'm sitting here swearing. But yeah, no, it is. I mean, I put on a different level of the derogatory remarks, racial slurs, things like that, and how far we've come in it. There's still an asshole that will still do it, and it's
oh
just
yeah,
what year you're from, and not saying that there's a year to declare that it's okay, but it's just we've come so far where we've grown, and to have it's even you got kids at the show. It's like
yeah.
that's what I always look at. It's like what are you teaching them?
Mhm.
So and yeah, it's pitiful and it's disgusting, man, and annoys the fuck out of me. But
It,
Yeah.
it's a societal thing, and how I look at it in the terms of everything in the broad scope of the world. It's like while the world starts to evolve very slowly, the wrestling world, when it comes to fandom, at times evolves even slower than that. So yeah, sometimes you'll go into like a rural area and you will get somebody just like, hey, you're supposed to be the biggest baby face on planet Earth. That's not happening tonight.
Yeah. Well, we were watching some WWE shows, and I'll watch them with my wife, and she sits there and she's like, "What year is this?" Because she'll look at the crowd. She likes looking at their clothes, especially if it's like '80s, early '90s.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Oh, this is 1996." She goes, "No." She's like, "This is like '89, '90." And I'm like, "No, the fans a little they progress a little slower, definitely in the wrestling business." And then like we'll go to a next show just because they're in a different area. And she's like, "Well, what year is this?" I'm like, "Same year." She's like, "Those look like totally different trends and everything on that show." I'm like, "Yeah, this depends on the area you're going for wrestling. So they could look
Mhm.
like a totally different year."
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
it's funny.
Oh yeah.
No,
I
it's
think
a
I've heard
crazy.
kids say some of the worst shit out of everyone. I think people with with their kids, like they have their kids and they're just standing there behind them and the kids are saying shit. Fuck. Those have been the worst ones I've heard, which has been weird. I take that back. Not quite the worst, but close. Close. Like kids that are like under 10 usually are the ones that end up saying some pretty fucked up shit. I mean, not like, I don't know. It was, but though again, it was in those smaller towns that were, out wherever. And it's like, oh, yeah, but yeah, I just kind of taken back, just, that kid. And then the parents are just sitting there, just fucking, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good little Timmy right there.
Yeah.
yeah, they
And
look over. I raise them right.
yeah,
It's like since you got to use that accent with it, but
Yeah.
kind of goes hand in
Oh yeah.
hand. It's the truth, man. I mean, if they're gonna be
Oh
out
yeah.
there saying stupid shit like that, we're allowed to sit here and just call it straight as it is. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and we're trying to be respectful to those fans even now, but it's hard. It's really
Mm.
hard, and then the social media shit that like you, I guess you can sit there at this point and say like children and pro wrestlers can kind of be the same because you're growing up in a different world as a wrestler. Because if you go back to the early like 70s, 80s, 90s, they didn't have social media.
Yes.
So in one way,
Yes.
it's good to get yourself over and put yourself out there and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be here, 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 here." But then every asshole in the world can chime in and start making comments about things and wrestling and everything like that now. So how do you handle? I mean, do you deal with any stupid shit on social media too, or any awesome stuff on social media that helps you out, like get your name out there? And
Uh, here's the great thing about social media, and I've actually chatted a lot with Rusty about this. I'm barely on social media these days. And if I am on social media, it is short, quick, to the point, and I would just say something off the wall, but very polite, and just go about my business.
I think that's the way, man. Mine's getting slimmer and slimmer by the day. I just stay busy with work, and I pretty much only go on there for work, talk to people about work or wrestling. I mean, that's about it. Otherwise, you turn it on, you see so much negativity. So it's just it's a shit world, and hopefully we can make it better. And I don't know. I mean, 30 years have been over 30 years. Yeah, watching wrestling and everything I do, I put it in there, and everything I compare everything to is professional wrestling. Like the other day, someone sat there and goes TNA. I know what they're saying, but I'm
Mhm.
just like wrestling. I'm like, yeah, wrestling. They're like, no, that's not what it means. And I'm like, yeah. So no, it's just funny how brains think
Testing
for pro
Albert.
wrestling. Oh,
Testing
Testing
Albert.
Albert, yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Testing
Testing
Albert.
Albert.
Yeah.
Little nonstop action. There's that
Yeah.
one.
There you go. See, look, I can do a thing right here. Like I'm on my Twitter machine right now. Here you go. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Hey, look, Jesse Ventura reminding everybody that Predator is 35 years old.
Oh, don't do that. Is it really 35 years old now? Yeah. I guess they're coming out with number five. Number five is coming out soon. It's called Prey.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna
We'll see how.
pretend that that's not happening. So Well,
Apparently
who
we're going
knows? Who knows? It could be great.
Number
going for a Jurassic Park special where all the beasts and monsters now get into the real world and start just hanging out on planet Earth. It looks like so. All these movies are just getting wacky.
Yeah, I mean, you're able to cross over enough things now. I mean, yeah, how many different Predator movies have there been? I mean, do those count as part of the 5 that you're talking
I'm
about?
lost. Yeah, no, I somewhere they have 1 and 2, and then they got what? Requiem or Alien versus Predator or something like that. I don't know if
Yeah,
those
there's
count.
Alien versus Predator, and
Yeah.
then
And then you have the Predator. You have the Predators when they were like off in a different planet, like Adrian Brody and Lawrence Fishburne and stuff. When they're all like the hunting, when they're all like on the hunting planet.
Yeah.
And
whoa.
then you had the other one, which was almost like the last recent one that was like almost like a successor to Predators, which had like Gary Busey's son playing his son, but as a scientist instead of a
Jake
cop.
Busey?
Jake Busey, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know
Okay.
was he in that film?
So
Yeah.
speaking of Jake Busey, so Jake Busey was in Starship Troopers. And the guy who is the like the infantry whatever, like the main guy, the who's like the head of the
Casper Van
infantry.
Dien.
What's that?
Casper Van Dien.
No, not Casper Van Dien, the guy, the old guy who ends up
Oh,
like he's like if I get, taken down, just shoot me or whatever. And he like
yeah.
The guy
he throws
from
the knife at his
Total
hand.
Recall?
That's right. That's right. Like, hey, put your hand up.
Yeah. So that guy, he's okay, he's in the new Dexter show, but he's also the voice of Mr. Krabs. And I was
The
just like,
voice of
that's
Mr.
fuck.
Krabs? Oh, that guy. Yeah, my wife had told me he's the voice of Mr. Krabs. He's from Highlander. She's in the
And
background
in
here.
Highlander,
Oh,
he's in
Highlander.
Highlander.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
the
yes,
voice
yeah,
of
okay,
Mr.
thank
Krabs.
you.
And I was just like, that's fucking
I felt we
crazy.
just did
I
phone a friend
learned that
right there.
last
That's
night.
awesome.
I was just blown away. I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
yeah, Jake Busey, man. I mean, what happened? Is he still going around? He did yeah, that and PCU and
Shasta McNasty.
nasty.
Holy shit, he is in PCU. He's the hippie.
Yep, he's the
Yes.
hippie one, the hippies.
Yep.
You guys
And
are
the
just blowing
ultimate
my
frisbee
fucking mind.
guys.
This is great. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, wait, he's in all these things. I only think of Starship Troopers. That's the only thing I ever think of him in. So I think that's his biggest role, probably.
Yeah. Did you guys see the follow-ups to those? Any of those? The Starship
No,
Troopers
I shouldn't say
2,
no. I seen
3,
number 2, I think. We're
4.
on 6 now.
Yeah, no, there was a lot. There was, I think, definitely more than 3. I think there was,
Like
yeah, probably,
Sharknado.
yeah, it's up on that Sharknado level. And I think the only person that stuck around was, yeah, Casper Van Dien. It was the only one who stuck around through all of them. But yeah, maybe Jake Busey did too. I don't know.
Yeah, did like
Or
most
no,
of the
Jake
people
Busey,
die?
he didn't die. He died in it. Did
In the first one?
No, I think he might have. No, I think he still lived in that one. Like everybody else, like Dizzy died.
yeah. And
Charlie Sheen's
Carmen
ex-wife.
and
Yes.
whatever Neil Patrick Harris's character is, they both didn't die.
Yeah.
And then yeah, maybe Gary Busey's or whatever Jake Busey's
Jake
character
Busey.
didn't die. Who yeah, okay. And then yeah, because then yeah, there's that other guy.
Now you're forcing me to watch that again.
It's a
Watch
pretty
it.
good
Like,
movie,
did he
man.
die yet?
I liked it. I saw it when in the theater. I remember that. 'Cause I wasn't 17 yet, but I went in and saw that though. It was easier. It was one of those things like because we had to go and like some places you could go into it and just pay for, going into a rated R movie and it didn't really matter. But
Mhm.
usually it was you had to buy a ticket for something else and then go walk into the theater. Um, it was
I'll tell
harder.
you that.
I mean, but yeah, I remember like being like 14 or so, and it wasn't really a problem buying tickets to rated R movie, but then between like 15 and 17, until I turned
Yeah,
17, it was
you
pretty
want to know
hard to
why?
get
Because we weren't
into.
shooting shit up. we were allowed to go places without being looked at and going, "Are you gonna do anything stupid today?" No, we're just in here stealing some candy, motherfucker.
Just watching Starship Troopers and fucking
Yeah, that was
Event
fun.
Horizon, something about
It's funny
Mary.
what people worry about, dude. What's the worst injury you got in wrestling?
I had
I
a
always like
very
asking this one.
worst one. Actually, had had 2 fractures in my lower back.
Oh,
Lower ones. I actually had to leave and had a spinal fusion surgery for that. So that was a fun one.
yeah, I got my neck fusion. And that
Ooh,
one done.
dude. Good
Going
mobility.
back in October. I can't go all the way left anymore. And they were supposed to do a double, and they pulled out of that because they're like, "Oh, we'll just do the single level." And they did that. Now they're like, "Oh, we should have done the double." I'm like, "Yeah, you think so?" So I'm dealing with some other issues with it right now. But it's all good. It's an experience. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But yeah. So far, that's been the worst one I've had. Had to get my meniscus repaired and had to get that taken care of. Had a AC separation for my clavicle. Like 1 or 2 months in of training. Of course, black eyes, chipped teeth, blood, concussions. Oh yeah, too many bloody instances to count. So luckily, I haven't had that many concussions. So knock on
Yeah,
this.
definitely knock on wood. That's good, man. Me and Rusty can't say the same. So
Yeah, most weren't even from almost all of them were not from wrestling, so
yeah,
makes it even better.
none of those are
Wrestling's
from
safer
there.
than the real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got all mine outside. Yeah, fucking too many, I think. But now when you go on the road, I mean, do you have any favorite areas you like to go and wrestle at, like Seattle? Like, what you've been down in Sacramento? Please done that circuit, right?
Uh, yeah. I've done Sacramento a few times. Did Santa Cruz. I've done all up and down the West Coast. Honestly, my favorite ones is back home in Houston.
Houston. You got into a
Go
Booker T school?
yes. I've gone a couple times to there, but I have not gone and checked out a show at ROW or done any shows there. But I've done a couple shows for Texas All Star Pro Wrestling as well as Law Pro Wrestling. It's a new promotion that started up. It's going on about 2.5 years or so. Headlined by some extremely talented kids down there, as well as our former fearless leader Jason Sullivan, former
Yeah.
DOA alum.
So at those
Yeah, no,
shows, are you
he's a good
mainly
guy.
in near big cities, or are you sometimes out in the middle of nowhere?
Those are big cities. They are going out in what's called Katy, Texas, which is about, I want to say, about 20-30 minutes outside of Houston, which is kind of like going from Portland to Beaverton or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's still pretty big population and stuff like that. There was one time Nate Andrews was doing a show. He has his own promotion out in bumfuck nowhere, and not too far from Abilene, Texas, which is a little bit close to Dallas, but it's in the middle of nowhere kind of thing. But they draw a whole bunch of people there, which is amazing. So last time I was there, it was a little town called Brown Brownwood, which funny enough, Bob Denver Gilligan went to that high school in
No
that
Shit.
way.
town.
Is
Yeah.
that does he have a thing there's a sign that says home of Bob Denver when you go into it, or
Yes, on the inside it actually does, and it was
they're
actually really crazy to see.
like a Bob Denver Avenue or something, or the Bob
Didn't
Denver School.
didn't see a Bob Denver Avenue or school or anything. I'm pretty sure they might have had something inside the skull for him. Like they had like a little etching inside the skull, but maybe they like gave a wing to him or something like that. But nothing that big. But yeah, it's yeah, I like doing a lot of those shows in Texas because I don't a lot of times because I travel a lot for work for elsewhere too. I don't have a lot of time or get the luxury like a lot of people get to do of wrestling in front of family and like friends that I like grew up with and stuff. And so when I'm down there and I'm back home and I actually get to do that, it's actually a crazy thing. So
When you're down there, are you
my
wrestling as
mom
a
actually
heel or
gets to see me get
face?
beat up. So it's a it actually depends. It depends whatever the booker wants. When I first wrestled down there, they actually had me interrupt a championship match for the light heavyweight championship and make it a triple threat. And so I came out there and it was like, hey, we want you to go out there, be a heel, interrupt, and we're just gonna give you a mic and let you go. And by the time I was done on the mic and they rang the bell, everybody hated me. Bad thing is I forgot to tell my daughter that I was going to be a heel. So she was the only one that was very not pleased with the fans. So she was yelling at the fans, stop yelling at my dad. I thought it was sweet, but she was pissed.
This is a question. I'm trying to figure out the best way to ask this question without sounding like a goofball when I ask it. But like, who is the most like? No, I don't want to say popular wrestler you've gone in the ring with, but a wrestler that's well known that like you've gone in live. Did you go? Well, you did Christopher or had the match with Christopher Daniels, didn't you?
Yes, correct. I did. Yeah, I worked Christopher Daniels. I forget the cat. I forget the cat's name. New cat that's with Malachi Black in his stable.
Brody.
Brody King. Yes, worked Brody King at DOA. Maybe about 4 years ago or something, like 3-4 years ago or
Yeah, it
something
was
like
right
that.
before I left.
Yeah,
Big man.
yeah. Oh, yeah. His hands hurt, and he is yeah. There's no getting a smile out of him at all. So that's not a. Oh, trust me, I tried everything. It was just like he just left it. He was one of the rare people that actually like left a handprint on my chest, which was actually something to behold. So
Oof. Yeah, no, he's a big man. I won't want that happening. Yeah, I remember Christopher Daniels there, and I couldn't remember for sure if it was you that would do the match with him. And then were you in the match? Who was it with? It was the Blanchards were in there. We're at the Armory over in Portland, and it was a cage match, and fans bring the weapons. I say when you guys had the first fans bring the weapons match in DOA, I was excited until I saw all the crazier shit that the fans brought that I didn't bring, and I was like, "You guys are fucking sick. Like this is fucked." I didn't. You guys were using it in crazy ways. I was like, especially Drexel when those fans bring the weapons match, man. The
oh,
way
Was
he
that the
used his
one that was
items.
at in Oregon City? When with my
No, this
sister?
was out by was it
Out of the
Jansen?
Cleaver.
Like kind of like the marina
Yeah, the
area, and
Cleaver
they
Armory
is
in
where
Portland.
Bubba bled. I mean,
Oh,
hardcore. I mean,
oh,
spouting blood
okay.
everywhere. And I was filming at the time. I had to go over to
Oh,
Bubba, and I'm like, "You doing all right, man?" And he's like, "I'm fine."
oh, yes. That was I was not in that match, but I was in the cage match before it, which was myself and Ethan HD. We're doing the title for title deal, and that's the day where I got my eyebrow piercing caught on the cage and it ripped out.
Oh, I did not know that. Oh my
oh
goodness,
shit!
that is
Yeah,
fucking
and
gross.
yeah, and the funny thing behind that because that just happened on accident, but we're just like, hey, we're in the cage, we got all these like stuff to use, and they're like, no, we're using that for the fans bring the weapon match after you guys. Well, what can we use? I don't know, figure it out. So we're like looking around, and he was like, you find anything? No, you find anything? And then we just looked down, and there was just like a plastic bag. When you use this plastic bag, okay.
Cleveland Steamers.
No,
Man, you see a plastic
not
bag.
that
I
day.
mean,
It was Dirty Sanchez that day.
I think I got my own rusty fish hook in training one time from you guys. I think that happened to me. I know Drexel was in on it. Drexel was definitely in on the rusty fish hook, but that's a story for another time.
Oh
No, man, you always gain, like when I would sit there at the shows and stuff with the kids and stuff, and you would come out, you got a lot of energy from the crowd. And I think for the most part, I think the time that I was around, you were a baby face. I don't think you ever were heel at the time. Now, have you turned heel? You have,
uh
haven't you?
yes, I have. I think it wasn't too long after that. It maybe been about like 2 years after that where like I had like my official turn and stuff. Like I actually like I worked a match with Mike Santiago in the Iron Man match.
Is
And we
that where
kind
you
of
had the
had
Samuel L. look kind of going? I think.
yes, that's
Yeah.
where we're actually going by the group Pulp Fiction. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember everything. Like it's so many years ago, and I'm like, oh, now, do you like playing heel more or baby face? Like, do you prefer one over the other? Are they the same to you?
Pretty much one and the same to me, but when it comes to like being a face, especially nowadays, like since I'm not doing a lot of extra things and I'm like just I'm an introvert at heart, so you're like nowadays you're getting a lot more of like the introverted kind of me, and I'm like I'm still got the energy, but it's just like, hey, I'm older, and it's like I'm waiting for the energy drinks to kick in, and I'm waiting for the ibuprofen to pop in, and like I've done my stretching, but it's cold now, so my joints are kind of clicking. Like let me get my foot, and I'll get there eventually. But it's like a with being a heel, I can do the same thing, but I'm just sitting here, and then all I can just do is just like slowly try to undo my jacket, and I can't get it. People just like, what? And it's like, and I got people laughing at me because I can't get my jacket undone. And I'm sitting there, and now the ref is asking me what's wrong. And I'm like sitting there struggling around trying to get him to do it. And then the face is coming over trying to ask what's wrong. And then I deck the face, and then I start stomping down on him. And then I just look up and slowly unzip my jacket.
Nice.
So
That's a good one. Yeah, I know a lot of guys out there. For some reason, I always hear like a lot of guys like being heel. They say it's easier. It's more comfortable for them to be heels in wrestling. I don't hear too many people ever say, "Oh, I really enjoy being a babyface." It's like, I mean, yeah, guys like Cena or Hulk back in the day who never wanted to turn heel, but yeah, no, I always wonder because back in our days, I mean, people would either stay face or heel. They would never really change until, I mean, I would say our generation growing up in the Attitude Era, you had the big changes, and liking the heel was cooler than liking the baby face.
oh yeah.
Um,
It all depends on what type of merch you're selling. So that's what that is.
Now, do you do that as a heel? Do you sell merch as a heel? Or do you not sell merch as a heel?
I don't I like I am not a I'm not a fan of heels selling merch because that just kind of goes against the whole idea of being a heel kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
I am not somebody you should be to wear on you or support whatsoever. You should be wanting to, if I had merch, you should be wanting to like tear up, like pay money to tear up be wanting to destroy my stuff altogether. Like you shouldn't be going, it's like, yeah, we support you. Like if I see somebody going out there going, hey, yeah, we support you and we love you, and I'm a heel, then I'm not doing my job right.
Like I remember Mister having some merch that was like that. That was like don't it was like I don't know, it was something calling him, like whatever the fuck it was, making fun of Mister somehow, and it's on the
Mhm.
shirt, and he's like, "Don't buy these shirts and wear them or burn them up or whatever." And
Yeah.
it's, I mean, that's different than having it be the cool thing to be wearing your shirt. But yeah, I like that he would do that. It was a good way to be able to sell stuff as a heel, and it worked. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of
And
people would buy those shirts. There was like the no Mr. Ooh La La or something like that, like the
mhm.
Ghostbusters thing.
Yeah,
But
and that's a smart thing. It's just like, hey, It's like, hey, even though like I'm not gonna get you to support me, at least I can get you to buy something to hate me that I produced, kind of thing.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing where like when everybody's getting a whole chance of like, let's go Cena, and then they had like the Cena suck shirts. People didn't realize. Everybody's like, oh man, they're starting to sell Cena suck shirts. They get that. People didn't realize that John Cena was behind those. Like, yeah, we need to make Cena suck shirts.
I got one. I got one. I actually saw it the other day, all washed out vintage style. I was like, oh, and now I'm a huge fan of John Cena, which is funny. I love the guy, respect the guy phenomenally, and I mean my son.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, you know us. We're the ones they like to call the rats that hang out the port. Haven't done in years though, but yeah, that's how we got to see John Cena, and that guy is like they say, he's a giving guy, man. He's a very giving guy. That's what I was going to talk about. You talked
Yeah.
about Nate Andrews. The time I was around Nate Andrews, he is one of the most unselfish guys out there. He is such a giving guy in the business. Like that guy is amazing, man. He was always so thoughtful and so nice and understanding. Or like if you couldn't do something a certain way, he would try to go through 5 different ways, like just to get it into you, you know. And that guy was always amazing to be around when I was around. It was a cool guy.
Yeah, he's definitely he has what we call the mind for the business, and like not only like having the mind for the business, like he has like the amazing attitude for the business. Like still to this day, like when it comes to like people having like good attitudes when it's coming to wrestling and stuff like that, Nate Andrews is like in my top tier of like no matter what, like if he's having a bad day or something's bad is going on in his life, he leaves it at the door and he's like he's there. He's trying to put a smile on his face. He's trying to put a smile on everybody else's faces. And he is a sucker for punishment like I have never seen. Like if you are not making fun of him, he actually thinks you don't like him.
Yeah,
which
no,
is
he
which
was
is a weird
such a
thing.
cool guy.
He just oh yeah, and he still is. Like I
Yeah.
hope he never sees this, but if he does, fuck you, Nate. But but yeah, he's
Yeah,
a guy that I
he's
can definitely call like a really good dear friend. So
now speaking of friends, or this is one I wanted to put in the middle here. You were with a faction called the Illuminati. How did
yes,
you
yes.
get into the Illuminati?
Uh, I got into the Illuminati from a they wanted to go ahead and like, hey, we need to move this group into a different direction, as well as like they were starting to get like a more positive like reaction kind of thing. And it was also kind of a test thing with me, sort of like, hey, like maybe if we like put you with like people that you're like actually comfortable with outside of the ring and we've like seen you like hang out and like party with, maybe you can bring some of that personality that you have like behind the scenes into the ring. So that's how that came about.
Yeah, I
So diversity hire.
gotcha. Yeah, no, I'd heard. I didn't see the Illuminati in the very beginning of their, I guess, formation. I think I
Mhm.
saw. Was it there was one guy in the original group? What was his name? Big dude, big jacked up guy. Why can't I think of his name now?
Did he have noodle hair?
Yes,
Oh, Wage Reichton.
there we go. Yeah,
Eesh.
I heard
Yes.
he made the group a little controversial in the beginning, and
Uh
and that's why
yes.
the group wanted to go a different way. So I asked how you got in the group, and it was definitely for the best, man. That group in the Northwest for me is you guys are my favorite. I mean, one of my favorite
Oh,
pictures I have is I took with all 4 of you guys. It was you and Drexel, Hess, and Thunder. So it
oh,
was at the
I remember
YMCA.
that.
Yeah, it was at the YMCA. That was a good time.
hmm
Um,
So speaking of Colonel De Beers,
Yes.
he had some colorful characters that he got to portray throughout his career. And I mean, yeah, between what he had in Idaho I saw one show to with the Brajnishis, and
Yes.
I mean, how did that kind of, what did you get to learn from that, from what he did? Because I mean, Buddy kind of had a different approach, but I mean, Buddy did some stuff, but it wasn't quite to the, or even like him being like De Beers, being
De Beers
the
Diamond.
the diamond, the South African,
Yep.
fucking diamond guy. Like he always had something that was pretty gonna jab some people a certain way, make them feel something no matter what, even just seeing or hearing his name.
Oh yeah. With him, his whole mantra was there's no such thing as cheap heat. So there's like no matter how little it was, like if you can give a connection with the audience member, like focus, zero in on it, and if you're doing something that seems silly, do it 100 times more until it feels right. And at that time, if it doesn't feel right, leave it alone. But hey, if you do it 100 times and it still feels silly, but it's working, keep doing it.
You just keep on fucking, you start poking that shit enough, those people enough, like eventually you're gonna find out what's gonna fucking break them. And
Yeah,
then you fucking zero in on that, and it worked really well for him throughout his career. I mean, you got the Rajneeshi thing with the fucking uh only or not the only, the first bioterror attack in the United States, and then going in pretending he's one of those guys. And I mean, I'm sure they were doing shows out right by there too, somewhere in
oh,
the loop, probably in the Dalles even.
oh yeah,
um
absolutely. And that's speaking of that too. Uh, him and Buddy were very big proponents on no matter what town you went to, always picking up the local paper, or always like, well, since nowadays like cell phones, checking out the local news, checking out what's hot and what's currently going on. So if you're a heel, it's like, hey, our local baseball team won. Make fun of the baseball team since everybody loves that. Or when he's doing stuff like that, like the stuff that was just going on in like one section. I'm gonna zero in on that since everybody think that's a problem. Oh look, and now it's coming in into our entertainment that we love so much. It just resonates.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, you're gonna get heat immediately from that. Just I mean, yeah, when people are that passionate about something, or something that really, yeah, strikes a chord directly with them, and each individual person's feeling that, like, that's gonna be is great heat right there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
uh, so how about some Colonel or Buddy stories you have that you like to, or that you can tell, or that you like to
That you can't tell.
you like to
Uh,
tell?
uh, I'll start with Buddy, and then I'll start with Colonel. Then I'll end with Colonel. But Buddy would always when first met Buddy, he had a thing like when it's just like, hey, you can just call me Quiz. He kept calling me Quincy for like the first 3 months. And then it was like, who are you talking about? He's like, Quincy, the black fella with the dreadlocks. It's like, and so Colonel will always call him Tubby. He's like, God damn it, Tubby. His name is Quiz. He's like, oh, but it was a hilarious thing. Buddy took me to the hospital, and so he had like this caddy with like these balls in the back of his caddy. But he also had like a satellite dish and a television screen inside. And so he was inside like driving me, and like Colonel was in the passenger seat, and like Buddy's just like kind of worried that I'm gonna sue. He's like, hey man, you want to watch the sports channel? Watch this. It's like, I can get some adult movies on here too if you want. And I'm like, Colonel's on the other side. He's like, he said he's not gonna sue. He signed a waiver. kind of thing. But yeah, but Buddy was always one of those guys that was definitely he he kind of covered his ass on a lot of things, but he also, you could tell there's a lot of times where he really cared about people. Because the day my daughter was born, he was actually the very first person to call me up to say congratulations, which was a
Nice.
which was a very cool moment. But Colonel, he was always a character, and there was always lessons that I still think about to this day. But like when we used to run drills and stuff like that, like he's like, all right, hey kids, I'm gonna show you how to do sunset flips. Now, I'm not doing the sunset flips because my knees are blown, but you're gonna go ahead and do the sunset flips. And so he would shoot us off, and like he'll bend down over, we'll flip over him, and then we'll go ahead and grab. And he's like, all right, kid, now you gotta learn how to sell it. You gotta sell it and make it wiggle. And then like he'll stop, and then he'll like get up, and then he looks at the rest of the class and he starts telling a story. And it's always fascinating stories with Ed, because Ed was one of those guys that could just bring you in on a story. Like, did I ever tell you about that time that I roomed with Cowboy Bob Orton when I was over in Germany and I had real bad diarrhea? It's like, what? So he would go into stories like that, and then like you're at the bottom, like listening to the story while getting a sunset flip, and then you look up and then you realize he's not wearing any underwear, and he's wearing short shorts.
Yeah.
And then he just looks down and is like, sorry, kid, don't believe in underwear.
But
Yeah.
how have your sunset flips been after that, like doing that trying to get the guy to get down? How's that improved with having that training style?
It has been fantastic. My sunset flips look A1, like I'm trying to avoid looking at old balls.
Which is an interesting
Trying to
thing when you're
avoid
doing
old
a
balls, and I'm
sunset
trying to get
flip.
the pin very quickly. Try it, it's yes, the desired effect is there. That's what it was meant to do.
And it's one of those things too with you never know what something's gonna happen, some weird fucking thing's gonna happen with the crowd or in the match or something, and you just have to kind of be ready for anything. Like you're ready to hear, dude talking about diarrhea, or you see his fucking nut sack, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm still in the fucking match. I need to fucking just go with this and not just, stand there, looking at his balls and shit,
Yeah.
it's an unorthodox method of teaching, but it sure fucking works.
It definitely does. Not the ball situation, but there's example of the old Oregon City, the city annex. A fight broke out in the crowd one time with like two audience members, and wrestling former friend, he passed away years ago, Jimmy Freeman. We were in the middle of a match, and a fight broke out. And we were just like, yo, what's going on? So one of us just like grabbed the hold. But the thing was, is like him and I started getting into like a shoot beef, because his hand was like over my eyes where I couldn't see. So I'm fighting with him on trying to see what's going on. So like we just kind of like, it kind of looked like we were wrestling around like for position, but we were just wrestling around to try to see what was going on until the stuff dissipated, and like, all right, we can go about this match now.
Yeah, I think we actually, our
And I
first
believe
show that we ever came to was the show, the tribute. Was it a tribute show to Jimmy?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think that
that
was
yeah,
the
was our
first one we
first
went
show we
to.
ever came to see you guys wrestle. It was a Jimmy Freeman show. It was our first show there, so we were there for the one where Thunder and Cleaver fighting, going through the van, or no, through the car, off the van. And I remember one of the
Beauty
fans
Harry's fan,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, one of the
yeah,
fans there.
yeah.
I can describe him, and you probably know, as a toothless motherfucker. Usually,
You got to narrow it down.
wife looks like Alice Cooper. Hopefully, none of these people watch this show. And they had like 7 kids that used to come with them. They used to get very,
Oh,
very vocal and like very into their show. And Defalia one time, and Jason Sullivan pissed this guy off to no end, man. they really, I mean, really, Jason and Defalia together. I don't know what they did
Yes.
to this guy. This guy was so worked up. Tracy had to go in and like, just calm the fuck down. Like he was like, oh man, and yeah, it was just, it was. I was watching that while I'm watching was the Falls Count Anywhere over at the annex or whatever, and they go
Yeah.
through the car, and I'm like,
Mhm.
and then a chair goes flying from him. I think he throws a fucking chair, and I'm just like, now with my daughter and Ben, you were there, and my brother was there, and we just form a circle around, and we just keep on filming, and having fun. It's a good time.
I think that was the last
But
time he was booked there too, at that show.
Falia,
Yeah. I think after that one, he wasn't around anymore.
Sideshow, I think was there
And I think
as
same with
well.
him too. I think that was the last time for both of them.
Oh, did he get in some
But
trouble?
I don't, I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't remember them after that. I think,
Yeah, I
but yeah, I
remember
mean,
seeing
whenever
those guys.
I bring people to shows, or that have come to see me, like whatever they tell me that I'm like, how was the show? I'm like, 95% of what they tell me is about what's going on with the crowd.
Mhm.
Um, there's hardly any mention of any wrestling going on ever. I mean, like most of what wrestling is the crowd, which is weird, but I mean that's the stuff that you remember. I remember um my buddy Charlie came the only time he came was the it was the show I think where you won the title at the I think it was the or no, maybe it wasn't. It might have been the show. Yeah, I think it was the one where you won the title, I think. And um I mean, yeah, he
Is this
didn't
in
say
Sullivan?
anything about the show. It was just like he had seen the South Park wrestling show or episode, and he's like, this is exactly what it was, man. Like I saw that and I was just like every single person in that show, like I saw that person out there. And I mean it's it's pretty real, man. Like the fans are it's amazing. I mean, but I mean I'm the fan too. So I mean I get it. I'm that person. I'm one of those people and they're and it's weird, man. It's always a fucking story or there's always someone wild to see in the crowd.
Mhm.
You got
So,
people yelling all kinds of shit.
oh
What was
man,
the
it's funny because like I always say like the fans. This is why like. Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it, go for it.
Oh yeah. What was I gonna say? Like the fans are always. I always. That's why they come to indie shows, like, because they're always want to be a part of the show, no matter like what it is, and which is a good thing. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. A lot of the times, it's a good thing. When we had like the earlier days of DOA, it was definitely like old school ECW kind of crowd. Kind of deal. Like you had the one section that we just kind of dubbed the hecklers that just would spout off anything and everything that will pop off at their mouth all the time. And then we had like the stoner crowd, which they were very cool and they always had signs and stuff and they were very polite. And then you had like all the other fans. And then after a while, it started becoming an issue with the hecklers messing up with the vibe of all the other fans around. So like after a while, it was just like, hey, you guys are gonna have to kind of like X-nay that down, like kids here and stuff like that. You're gonna have to stop chanting Nate sucks dick every 5 minutes.
It was quite the popular chant when it was Pastor Nate. Um,
Oh, I remember
yeah,
that.
I do remember that. And
Uh,
yeah, and I mean it wasn't just one person chanting it either. It was
yeah. Oh no, it
there,
was it was multiple. Still the greatest chant ever that I heard. I was actually working the match with Nate where he had a hiatus and he came out and the crowd just started chanting, welcome back, still sucks dick. Crazy.
and he probably
Oh,
loved
but
it.
he's such a good sport about
Yeah.
it, though.
Going
He's
out,
such
yeah,
a good sport
that's
about it.
Oh yeah.
So
I probably messed that match up because I just lost it and started laughing. So
how can you not, man? I mean, sometimes the fans definitely do get that chance sometimes that it gets to you. It's fucking hilarious.
oh,
So
very
it's
much
just,
so.
and then there's those ones like I think we can all say it today, like they're just overly done, where like you still got a chance when someone comes back after like 2 weeks.
Oh,
It's like
yeah,
they're not gone very long.
yeah, yeah.
You're like, you still got it. It's like, oh, I like to call it the Fox audience now,
Oh, the
very
Fox audience.
commercialized.
Yes. Like you lock up, you still got it. And it's like,
Yeah.
wow. Like wait till I hit the rope and
Yeah.
hit a shoulder tackle. They're really gonna lose their mind.
Wiping their feet
This
on
is
the apron.
awesome.
Yeah.
You're like, what? No. What's the and being a fan, what's the match that did it for you when you were younger that just you sold your soul to the wrestling devil? Like, what was it?
What actually sold my soul to it is when I found out that I was able to watch wrestling weekly when I was a kid, because I had like seen it in spurts here or there, and like I knew who Hulk Hogan was, and I knew who like Macho Man Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior Jake the Snake were, but I never saw them in the ring longer than like little clips here or there. But when certain things like when Monday Night Raw became weekly kind of thing, and when I saw like that first one, it was like they showed the Undertaker. I'm like, yo, who is this dude right here? And I was like, oh, that's the Undertaker. And I'm like, he kind of looks like that bad guy from Suburban Commando. Like, think he's the same
Mm-hmm.
person? No, he's not the same person. I think he might be. I don't think he is. But yeah, no, it's like, but I would have to say like the who like transfixed me onto it was the whole mystique of the Undertaker when he came out and his whole aura and everything that he did, because it was just something so different out of everything else that everybody else is doing.
It
So
definitely
did
was.
you
It scared the shit out of me.
Yes.
did you have the since you were down in Texas, did you have more? I mean, you said you had Raw going, but did you have a lot more like whatever NWA style or NWA wrestling, TBS or whatever down there, or did you I don't know, because I mean like we had it sort of, up in Oregon, it'd be on once a week or something, but it never was like the main thing that I was watching. So I don't know if did you have that like where you, 'cause, like whatever, all the people in WCW or whatever it was then.
Yeah, they did have a WCW on TBS kind of thing, and I kind of got to know WCW a little bit later on, kind of deal, because I got like a weird like what hooked me into wrestling, and I would like got like a whole like loyalty thing, and especially it's weird like being born and raised in the South and like being loyal to like the New York company when the Southern company is thriving down there. Kind of deal. And so, but it was just like that was just like what hooked me in first kind of deal. And it was almost like the thing when it was just like who what do you got? Sega or Nintendo? Sometimes you had both, but you was always on the schoolyard like, all right. It's like, oh well, I like this. And I was like, screw you, I'm a Sonic fan. And then you kind of shed a tear and cried when you saw like Sonic on a Nintendo system for the first time. It was one of those deals. So, but
No, you put that pretty well because it's funny because I'm a North guy, so like New York guy. I loved WWE and ECW growing up, and WCW. It's just how Nash and Hall put it when they went over. It's the good
mhm,
old boys company, and stuff like that. And it never attracted me. It was very. I don't want to say I like the storylines and stuff, but
mhm,
that's what attracted me to it, the characters. And then down south, it was more of showing your technique and getting over that way and showing your skills. And everybody didn't really stand out to me. So is
mhm.
that kind of what, like you said, the Undertaker brought you in, and
Yeah.
was it just more of those kind of characters that sucked you in, the I guess larger than life characters?
Yeah, yeah. It was like like those larger than life characters, and I think also too. I was at that age range where like I was supposed to get hooked into those type of characters, kind of thing. So like 93, I was what, 8 years old at the time.
That's
So
funny. I was 7 when I got into it, 7 or 8 years old.
mhm.
Mine was WrestleMania 6, so I was watching that, didn't care about the show, and then
Oh
Ultimate Warrior came out, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like, this guy's
yeah.
fucking amazing, and then he wins, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm like, fuck Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah. Uh, I have to say my very first live event that I ever went to. It was at what was called the Summit that turned into the Compact Center, which is now the Joel Osteen Church in Houston. I was like the WWF event, and my favorite wrestler at the time was Razor Ramon. And I'm like, oh, I gotta get to see Razor Ramon for the first time live. And then like begging my mom and like, hey, can I get the phone? Can I get the foam razor thing? Me not realizing that it's a foam razor. I'm just happy that it says Razor Ramon on it. But as I'm getting older, and I
That's
started to
funny.
realize, I'm like, wow, I was really naive as a kid.
I mean,
Now, watching as a kid, oh, go ahead, dude.
no. I mean, it's crazy that it was a razor blade, and like I forgot who it was. Like I didn't know it was razor blade when I was that age. Like I always just like I didn't know a razor blade looked like that. All I think about with razor blade is what you see on a fucking shaver thing, and like I don't ever see them like. And it was like I don't know, back in the fucking 80s and 90s, you didn't have you had there was shit, the shavers were pretty shitty, and it was like like one blade, you know uh
Mhm.
and it just I wasn't shaving in the 80s, but yeah, I mean, I don't remember seeing razor blades like that until I was way older. Like, and I didn't realize the Razor Ramon thing at least till I was an adult. I don't think that it
Mhm.
was had anything to do with uh yeah, but I hadn't seen Scarface then, I don't think either then until I was probably like 19 or 20.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Then after a while, you started putting two and two together, and you're like, wait a minute. Like, wait. Okay.
I call that life dots, and we just connect them. I mean, like, there's some things. It's like being that kid when like everyone's laughing at a joke and you don't get it quite yet, and you're just like, ah. And then you go home, and then you finally click. You're like, ah, now, yeah, okay, now it all makes sense. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
um, growing up as a wrestling fan, watching it, and then becoming a pro wrestler, is it different watching wrestling now on TV for you? Like, do you critique it and see all the little things they fuck up on, or do you still just enjoy the mayhem and all the stories?
You know what? Majorly nowadays, like I try to stay away from watching wrestling just for that whole thing. Cause for me at a certain point in time, it almost became a thing where like once you took the lid off the cap, there's like no putting it back on kind of deal. And but it takes a lot for me to like want to get back into like looking into it while sitting there watching it. Like I'll like catch up and catch clips and see what's the current storylines kind of deal. And then I'm like, oh, well, I see exactly where they're going here. And then I just kind of leave it as is. But there's like certain things that kind of like maybe resonate with my childhood or like resonate when I was younger, when I was growing up, like teenage years or something like that. I like check back. Like when Edge came back at the Royal Rumble and stuff, I'm like, yo, I gotta check this out real quick. I gotta check this
I
out. I
like
gotta
your
check this
taste, man. HBK, Edge, like those are the guys I
out. Hmm.
just watch. I love watching them come out. I love the pop they always get, especially with Edge returning and the emotion on his face. He's like, you could tell, like, okay, dude, don't have a full breakdown, but suck that in, but still fucking do your thing,
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
awesome to see that shit.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
man, yeah, I was used to dream as a kid just coming out through a curtain and getting that pop. I mean, that's got to just feel amazing when you get it and you come
That's it.
out and those people are just cheering for you, or you get your first win or get your first championship, and that cheer, that raging fan cheer. I mean, I've been there for one of your title matches, and you won the belt, and I was there. I got emotional. It was a good time.
And I'll have to say, like, the most recent time that I got emotional, actually, like coming out during a match, was DOA's anniversary show this past October. And it was like their first show since like the whole lockdown situation. And and before the lockdown, I was very happy about the lockdown because I was burnt out mentally and physically, and I just needed a break, kind of thing. And I was just kind of questioning things. And then I got an opportunity from the booker. He's like, hey, I'm like, try to get back in somewhat ring shape and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know how the crowd's gonna resonate, how it's gonna feel, kind of thing. And then just like to be the first person out that they saw for like the opening match, kind of thing, to like set the pace, kind of deal. And like the reaction they gave me, I'm like, oh wow, this is great. I don't know if it was just like from that, or maybe it was also too, I'm getting older and I cry at a lot of things nowadays. Like I cry at Marvel movies, so it's but yeah, it was just like a whole surge of emotions. It was like, all right, it was like trying to hold it back, and I'm like, there's like cameras in my face too. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna have to turn away real quick. Okay, let me just make sure that my whole face is sweating, so it just doesn't look like I'm just crying right now. So, all right, that's time to get into big boy mode and do this.
Nice. Yeah. No. That's one thing that really affected. I mean, COVID affected the pro wrestling business for sure, and a lot of sports. Anything that you did, just I guess, to keep yourself entertained. I know some guys just kept working out or writing things down or things like that. I mean, what was kind of your thing that you did during the pandemic? I guess.
You know what I will say the great thing about the pandemic is I stopped going to the bar as much.
Yeah.
So that was a plus. So that was one thing. Focused a lot more on my artwork, and other thing as well. I got into I started getting into what I like.
I might have lost you guys.
You lost both of us?
Nope.
Just quiz.
Is he gone?
Oh,
There you go. We missed that last part.
He's back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I got about like 200 to 300 action figures from when the pandemic started until about now.
Oh shit.
And I got about I think got about like 5 or 6 currently on pre-order right now.
Yeah, no, mine wasn't because of the pandemic. I showed these last week, I think, off the Drexel. But this is the crap that I got into. I got like yeah.
Dude. Oh no. I have not found those anywhere, and I've been looking for those 4-packs, and I refuse to go onto eBay to find them.
I'm gonna go out later. The Target over in Sherwood had them.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
yeah, if they're over there, I'll let you know.
Okay. But
Yeah,
hold on.
$300 online. Oh,
Yeah. Actually, here goes. Since this one right here is my Storm Collectibles Kung Lao Mortal Kombat 2.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have any Storm ones at all.
Yeah, I just I've had the Kintaro, the sub boss one, on pre-order, and they're just now coming out with those. So I'm like waiting for it in the mail any moment. And of course, to my road buddy, which doesn't matter. You can leave your car unlocked. My Homelander.
Oh, nice. Oh shit.
Yeah, this is the NECA Homelander.
That is really detailed, especially for NECA too.
Yeah.
Damn. That face is good.
Oh, absolutely. And this is they come with 2 heads for this one. The other one actually has kind of holes in them where you can shoot the lasers out of them.
Yeah, I was looking at
Are you keeping them in the box, or like how many of them are you keeping in the box? How many are you taking out?
You know what? For a little bit, I decided to keep some of them in the box, and then afterwards, I'm like, you know what? I decided to take all of them out of the box except for maybe a couple of them. I have some duplicates that I don't take out of the box, but other than that, yeah, like my Super Shredders, they're all out with my Turtles, all my Marvel Legends, and all the other stuff. Like I have, which I'll have to send a picture when I go back home tomorrow of my Montaro figure. He's actually holding a SH Figure Arts old school like Triple H. It's holding a sledgehammer.
Shit. Yeah, check out Super 7 Ninja Turtles. Those aren't too bad.
Yes. No, I love
Cool.
those. I love those because those are childhood, exactly what the ones I had as a childhood, but way more articulated now. So
Yes. Yeah. They do good on those. I also got a Cordona and Myers figures. Those are all right. They're not too bad.
mhm,
They're coming out. Who else? They were coming out an Andre the Giant figure.
yes.
No one can ever get that head scan right, man.
Yeah.
No one can ever get it right.
Now even NECA has the Princess Bride Andre figures out. The head still does like it looks almost right, but it's just the eye shadowing they have on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
I'm pretty
getting
sure if
close
like
to
you put a
having it
cloak over
their
his head,
size.
it might look all
Yeah.
right.
Well, man, Rusty, you got some more questions?
I think that's probably a good spot right there.
Yeah, no, dude, it's definitely an honor to have you on the show. I could sit here and talk wrestling all day, man. Like, especially with you, and you, you're just very creative in wrestling, and
Oh,
hopefully you
thank you.
continue to do it. And I meant to ask if you were working with the younger crowd these days coming up in the business. And Drexel was talking the other week about how he likes to get kids over now and all that good stuff, and all the up and comers, especially the business. I guess we can say it being a lot safer, I guess, and
Mhm.
behind the scenes than it used to be.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah, like
And it's
the anniversary show.
yes. Yeah, the anniversary show, I worked Titus Alexander, Big Ugly's, one of Big Ugly's kids, as well as Jaden, which Jaden used to be a fan in the audience when he was when he was like a teenager and like a kid and stuff. And like, yeah, they're in their 20s, and I like worked them in a triple threat match. And I was just looking, I'm like, oh, oh, and also too, I told Drexel, I'm like, yo, and like, I want you to give me a test. I'm like, and if I don't feel good after the match is done, then I don't think I can continue wrestling anymore. And then he's like, hey, you're gonna be doing a triple threat match. I'm like, dude, I said test, not like get me out of the business.
that's funny. Comes back with that. Yeah, I mean, there's ever a guy to do that, man. Go through two guys like that'll be you. I mean, you got the cardio to do it. I mean,
Oh, man, like yeah, at that time I was very afraid because I was 40 pounds, about 40 pounds heavier than what I am right now. So like COVID weight actually hit me really bad, like right in the middle of 2021. So Southern food got really good at the time.
yeah, I still act like it's COVID, I guess. Still eating like no other. And you got any shows coming up?
You know what? I just had my last two shows in Bellingham, Washington. Right now, I usually like to take time off during the summer just to chill. And also, too, it's like, hey, kids out of school, her birthday's coming up. Also, too, it's just like I like to be back home and not have any obligations. And also, too, I who knows if I'm going to be wrestling in September because I got to teach my kid how to drive. So that's going to be a thing. I
Yeah.
might not make it because she might end my life in the driving. Joking, but
Yeah, I see those pictures of the dads or sitting in the passenger seat next to their daughter. There was one, if you remember the crash test dummies.
yes.
The dad has a full bodysuit that looks like a crash test dummy, and his daughter gets in the car, and he's already sitting in the passenger seat, and she looks over, and he's just looking at her like, "Let's go!" Like, what the hell? And she's like, really? And she just gets the fuck out the car. She just won't even do it.
Oh yeah.
But
so I'm just hopefully I'm waiting for her to like, I want her to be good at it just so I can do all the things that she did to me. Like she likes to play her Switch while she's in the car. I would love to play my Switch in the car, especially since Shredder's Revenge is coming out on Wednesday. Oh, excuse me, Thursday. So
yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that just happened, and PlayStation just did their 3-tier thing for their PS Plus yesterday.
Oh,
so
yes,
yes. You can do all the original games from PS1, PS2, 3, not all of them, but a big majority of them, I guess you can play. Mm-hmm. I'll be setting that up today.
Oh, but, awesome.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
Smart move. Something. I mean, I think that's going to do pretty well with. I don't know why they hadn't done it before. Maybe they didn't have this stuff up yet. But I mean, whoever thought that up is a great idea. I mean, it's like the Netflix kind of a thing of video games, and it had to happen. And so yeah, I mean, that's gonna be pretty cool being able to just play all that shit on demand and without having to go and
Oh yeah. Which, funny enough, from my earliest recollection, I remember Sega being one of the first ones doing that back in the day when they had this thing called Sega Channel, when you could buy like this little box to stick in the back of your Genesis to plug into your cable box, and for $4.99 a month, you could flip through the games that they had on it.
Why did they stop doing that?
They got bought out.
Sega was they were ahead of their times, is what I like to say. They were way ahead of their time, and a lot of the things that we have nowadays, people are just like, no. And also too, they're like very gung ho. So they were between that money issues, that was a big thing. But yeah, I would say if it wasn't for them, in my eyes, we wouldn't have like the current streaming, like with platform games and stuff like that we have today. So I'm very thankful to be alive in this day and age and still go. Remember back in the day, like looking at Mario Pixel, man, this is great. And then seeing Mega Man, and then seeing the Street Fighter 2, like, and then eventually seeing the Mortal Kombat sprites, I'm like, man, you see this? Like, this is as good as it's gonna get. And then when the 3D games started to come into play, and oh, this is as good as it's gonna get, and it just constantly being blown away as it goes on. So I love being a gamer, and it's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I play a lot of Apex, like horribly. I'm like 1,800 hours of Apex right now. That's bad. And then I do Daisy. You ever heard that game? Daisy.
I have.
They just updated that. It's a terrible game for a person to have. It's so addicting. Do that, or Battlefront for Star Wars is another good one. Do that.
I want to actually get into those again. So I remember playing the first Battlefront and being blown away. But I haven't played any of them since then. But nowadays I've been really big into the Yakuza series, which I got Rusty into, and I'm sorry, Rusty.
So I see him on there. He's like, what's he up to in Yakuza?
Yeah. Well, because now I'm at the point in the game where it's I just am like I did all the stuff with the dude where you have to buy up all the property, but then with the other dude you have to go and run the club really well. And I'm on. I can't get to the last one. I can't go and beat the last dude yet. So I've kind of stopped on it right now. I've just been kind of stuck on it, and yeah, it's been frustrating because it's just like you have to keep doing the thing more and more to get more and more fans. And so yeah, my girlfriend keeps coming like, what the fuck are you playing? Like you just like, trying to like get all these chicks to buy fucking or dudes to buy drinks and shit for these chicks, and swap
the hostess deal. Yeah, that's it.
They're like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's fun. And so that's a fun one, man. And that's that Sega right there, and it's fucking they did great, man. I got fucking just hooked in that shit. I'll probably end up buying another one.
Yep, telling you, once you're done with Zero, you gotta get Yakuza 1 or Yakuza Kiwami.
Yeah, I think it's time to do that. I think it's
Yep.
time to maybe do that today. And once we get to these days here where it's 100 degrees every day until fucking October,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's like what can you do? Every day is fucking 100 degrees,
Oh
just
yeah.
the whole fucking summer here. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna get good at some video games here. So yeah, I
Oh
don't
man,
know.
you know.
I'm not someone who wants to stay outside in 100-degree weather all day. So
Oh, oh no. I'm gonna like when I will tomorrow when I go back home, it's gonna be like 98. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be in the AC the entire time. And
yeah,
like looking at my kid, I'm like you can play the Switch downstairs. I'm playing the Switch upstairs.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you at all. Is
I'm gonna be hiding if it gets that hot.
Yeah.
that airline ticket, was that pretty spendy?
Uh no, it wasn't pretty spendy at all. Let you in on a little secret. My actual job, which I'm not gonna reveal, actually took care of that.
Awesome. Fuck yeah, that's the way right now, man. Holy shit.
So
That's a good fucking job right there.
so let's just say I don't forget where I came from. I still fly Southwest, but I bumped up to where I get to be in the first in the A row now of
Oh,
sections. So
so you get the first boarding.
oh yes, it's
Yeah,
nice.
that's one thing about Southwest, man. Like I it's been a while because we're I don't know, the last few years, like Southwest isn't a big thing. Like it was United back in Minnesota, and here it's
Mhm.
Delta, and there's not a lot of Southwest that goes anywhere from here, and but yeah, Southwest, man, just getting there and having to get there early, like real early to get that A boarding, and
Mhm.
um, because I don't know, I don't mind getting to the airport super early.
Oh yeah,
I can deal with that and hang out, and especially now that you can put shit on your fucking phone and watch whatever or
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shoot. I used to
yeah,
play
I mean
Grand Theft
it's
Auto in the airports.
what's up?
Not a good idea, but I used to play Grand Theft Auto in the airports on the PC while
Don't
This
say it
is
out loud.
yeah.
yeah, it's a good idea, man. Like yeah, and you get the free Wi-Fi, so you can just fucking sit down there and enjoy
Mhm.
it, man. It's not like I don't know that it's not you have to go get fucking crossword puzzles and shit like that and
Oh yeah.
bingo or
Mhm.
whatever the fuck we used to play back then or yeah,
Uh,
it's
remember the little Tiger Electronic
oh
games?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those little video games, those
Those
ones
are
where it
fucking
was yeah, like
awesome.
it just has like one screen and it's yeah, it was interesting. And because they
Those
had
things are a
like different
lifesaver.
stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
than they
absolutely.
did for the Game Gear or
Mm.
Game Boy. And they were usually pretty cool, but you had to have a different one for each game. So it was like you end up with like fucking 10 of these things, and it's like, well, shit, okay, I can just have this thing and takes up a lot less room. But then yeah, I mean I don't know. I don't think I had a Game Boy. My oldest brother had a Game Boy, so it was kind of like I never got to play it until I think when he went to college, I ended up getting it from him and I kept it for a while. But I mean, I mean, when he went to college, I was fuck, probably 11 or something then. So I mean, I got it then, but it's still, I mean, that was fucking what 1993, and Game Boys were like kind of on the way out then. Like it wasn't really a thing, playing Super Nintendo then and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like, well, what's this Game Boy? This black and white thing, and like shit. But yeah, now it's amazing those things still going. Just fucking no problem. Turn them on right away, and there's, you know, they still all work great.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
whatever they did, they fucking made those things well, and yeah, those
Yeah,
ones. I mean,
you
it's
gotta
crazy
get
like
one of
seeing them
these.
on
Every train wreck, my bad.
like that have gone through like tanks and shit, like that have like gotten blown up in war and still are functioning, still turning on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Check
That's
this shit
fucking
out.
cool, man.
Oh.
A whole little arcade for Pac-Man, and it works.
Oh.
Get
Oh,
these
that
at
is
a
cool.
Target for like 20, 25 bucks. You
I've
can get a
seen.
Ninja Turtle one, a pinball one.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be up. See,
Yeah, there's
I would love.
I
No,
have
I
I
haven't.
made a little toy shop, so I have it in my toy shop that I have back here. So it's like a little 7-Eleven toy shop thing that I have for my displays when I do all my stuff, and yeah, it's kind of a cool thing to have in it.
See, now you need one of these to go with your arcade machine.
Oh, I need to go get one of those. Yeah, because I'm gonna
Uh,
have turtles and wrestlers in there and do a whole scenery thing.
oh,
That's
dude,
awesome.
this right here, $20 on Amazon.
Oh, okay. I'll
Yep.
go on it because I
Yeah.
like shopping Amazon better than anywhere else.
Oh yeah. Change face, different hands. It even comes with like fruits and stuff and all that.
That's
Shit.
awesome. That's awesome. You got the detail for those now.
Oh yeah.
And could you
Yeah.
imagine that if we had Amazon back when we were kids? Not
I would
having to
get.
go to fucking Toys R Us or KB Toys or any of that shit. Like, man,
Yeah, but
Hey
I miss
man.
KBs. I
Oh
miss KBs.
yeah.
yeah. Like if we did have Amazon when we were kids, one, I probably would have gotten beaten a lot more with a belt just from ordering stuff.
Having
Button
Alexa or
pushing.
some shit,
Yeah.
yeah, Alexa, put this on the grocery list, or Alexa, buy this fucking Nintendo.
Hmm.
Shit.
But yeah, no, like KB and Toys R Us, like those were like that was like the thing now, like back then. Like nowadays, it's just like the last time I remember getting like that same type of excitement of going into a Toys R Us is when I went into a Lowe's to go get some lumber. It was like this is the
Yeah,
beginning
man.
of the end for me.
It's a good question.
It's a weird world we're living in now after all the craziness. Like,
Mhm.
I want to move out to the woods into a cabin. There's two circumstances I need to have happen, and that's internet and Amazon. And then I'll
Oh,
move out
oh,
there.
all right. Well,
Yeah. No, I'm just as retiring, but those are things that I desperately thrive on, especially ordering toys from Amazon. If you do it late at night, they have flash sales.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's
Those
bad. I
flash
feel like an
sales
old
and
lady.
then order within the next few hours and you get it at 12 o'clock that day.
Yeah, that's another problem I have with them. They tend to sit there and pull me in with that crap. They're like, "You want it today? Come on, come on. Buy a
Mhm.
little bit more. Spend 30, was it 25, $35 and we'll give it to you today."
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, and I'm
Here
searching
they
for
just
something for
passed a
like,
thing where um fucking whatever our medical thing is, I forgot what it's called, like U Health or something. There's a hospital there, and
Mhm.
Walmart can both use drones here now to deliver stuff. So we got fucking drones delivering things to people's doorsteps now here. And they just passed it.
oh,
So
that
they're
is
like
not
they got
good.
fucking prescription drugs
Oh,
fucking flying around the fucking sky. I mean, I'm waiting for this stuff to start getting shot down, like seeing
No,
that
dude,
it's
as
like
soon as you see a lady named Sarah Connor touch a chain link fence, run. As soon as she goes, I'm
yeah,
Sarah Connor,
man.
she touches the fence, run.
Yeah, it's fucking
What's
weird, man.
next?
I haven't seen any yet, but they're
yeah.
out there. They're out there doing it. And I mean, they got that 2 hour delivery thing from Walmart right now. And so just gonna start seeing these little things fucking flying around and dropping right off on your doorstep without
And we're not
any
going to hear
person
any
doing
gunshots
anything.
from neighbors' yards shooting these drones down to get your shit.
That's what I'm thinking is gonna happen soon. That's
That's
gonna be,
Vicodin.
Yeah.
yeah, you start seeing the big boxes and or you start knowing which ones have the prescription drugs in it. Like you start shooting that shit down like real fast.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, my cholesterol medication. No, don't shoot that down.
Yeah, that's not the good stuff. You don't need that. Like,
Yeah, but
yeah,
Like, I
it's the
need
way
that
we're
to
going.
live.
It's
Yeah.
definitely the way we're going. It's at this age, I think, in our lives, we're just kind of looking at it going, okay, this is fucking crazy. Let's see how much crazier it's gonna get.
Yeah. It's as much stuff as I'm starting to see nowadays. I'm like, has science fiction taught us no?
Yeah.
yeah. They did a pretty good job of showing us what's going to happen, and they're pretty
Simpsons does
close.
it
Like,
pretty well.
Yeah.
yeah, they have a pretty good track record with what we've seen.
Well,
But
I better get going. It's about that lunchtime for me. I gotta feed the beast. But
Okay.
yeah, no, we'll be back next week. And oh, by the way, I keep getting asked. We will have 50 more robes next week available through Cordona. He'll be selling those while he's on the shelf. Elf on a shelf.
yeah,
So I don't
those
know if
things went really
anybody caught
fast
that.
last time. I mean,
Yeah, they went
however,
under a minute. And
yeah.
you can still get your leather jackets and your heart jackets. And now it's finalized, dude. Fanny packs. They're fully
Oh shit,
finalized. You can put
do the
cash
fanny
in little
pack
beer
stuff.
cans. They sold out of those fucking beer cans. But anyway, but yeah, we're putting all new products up this week, so it'll be fun. New belts, all stupid shit. But no, man, it was a pleasure having you on, man. Anytime you want to come on, chat toys, chat wrestling, chat video games, man. We're all for that. I mean, that's all we do.
Hey
So we're
man.
40-year-old children.
Hey man. I definitely appreciate it. Like I'm not 40 yet, but I'm getting there. And yeah, I'm happy to be
It's a
an
weird
almost
experience.
40-year-old man child. So
Yeah, it's not bad. I look at the past 40-year-old man child in our past where they look super old to us, and I think with all this great food that has preservatives, making us look young, so we can continue getting toys and hopefully, yeah, man, hopefully I'll see you in a match sometime soon. I want to get back out there and see shows. It's family expanding, life expanding. It gets crazy, as you know.
oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I think I didn't even tell you. We also personally had another kid too. So
Oh,
we have a 5-year-old. She's running around. Delaney
oh wow.
Danger is what
Oh
we named
wow.
her. So
Awesome.
well, she's a big wrestling fan. The two older ones kind of as they say, grown out of it for a while, or maybe just
Oh,
gone for good. Who knows?
yeah, yeah.
Um, but the little one, he's not even around anymore. She's like John Cena, and I'm like, what? Do they pump this into you somehow subliminally? I don't know how he does it, but yeah, no, he's got another fan, and it's funny to watch her watch it. Like she gets concerned on the crazy storylines with Seth Rollins and Cody. She's like, "Ooh, is that what's going on?" And she's like, blood, seeing Cody's chest." But
Yeah.
yeah, man, we'll have to do this again for sure. It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming on, man. It's we're having a lot of fun having guests on for sure. It's
Yeah, but thanks for having me. Like, yeah, anytime. I'm like, I'll totally love to do it again.
awesome. Rusty, got anything for the folks out there?
Uh, no, I'm in a
Because we forgot last time. I think we forgot last time about telling people not to be fuckers.
oh yeah, don't be fuckers unless it's funny. And
Yeah,
then
don't
be a
be
fucker.
assholes to each other. Take care of each other. Remember what we said about mental health. If you need anything out there, reach out to NAMI.org. It's a health whore. That is a
Mental
horrible
whore,
organization.
yeah. If you need a
Mental
mental
whore
whore,
organization. Mental
call up
health
Rusty. I got some
organization.
numbers.
And also still out there trying to help Don West with his lymphoma. You can send money his way. Check out threadheads.cc.com.org. I don't know where the fuck you are. We're on IG, wherever. Check out Rusty's Concepts. He's got some more shirts
Yeah,
coming your fuckers away. So take care of
fucking
yourself. If you can't take care of others. So please be good to each other out there. This world's fucking gross. And until next time, I am G. Yeah, that's me.
Rusty. That's
And that was our homeboy quiz. Thank you, sir. We will see you all next week, folks.
All right, thank
Love
you
you.
very much.